This story will give you goosebumps. Before we begin, a warning. Those who are easily frightened might not want to watch until the end. My friend says this actually happened in real life. Be careful. Enjoy watching. The night was strange, like the city itself was holding its breath, waiting for something unseen. I walked down the deserted street, the snow crunching softly under my boots, while dim streetlights cast long, distorted shadows. The air was damp and carried a faint, unplaceable scent that made my skin prickle. I had always liked late-night walks. There was something peaceful about the emptiness, a moment to think. But tonight, as I trudged along, I felt eyes on me. At first I told myself it was imagination, tiredness, a trick of the shadows. Then I saw him. He stood under a flickering street lamp, just a little ways off the path, frozen like a passerby who had paused too long. But there was something wrong. His posture was stiff, too deliberate, and his smile, it wasn't friendly. It was too wide, stretched across his face like a mask hiding something grotesque. I quickened my pace. Surely if I walked faster I could leave him behind. But then I heard it, a faint sound of footsteps echoing behind me. My heart skipped. I glanced back. He was following, moving without sound. Each step too precise, too controlled. Yet his smile remained unchanging. Panic made me break into a run. The uneven asphalt bit into my shoes as I fled, but he matched my pace effortlessly, gliding across the street like a shadow that refused to break. My own breath sounded deafening in the night, yet behind me, there were the steps, persistent, inescapable. My chest pounded so hard I felt it in my skull. I darted into a narrow alley, hoping to lose him, but there he was, waiting in the darkness. His smile had grown wider, almost unreal. His eyes glimmered, reflecting the weak light, and a suffocating weight pressed the air between us. "Are you alone?" I whispered to myself, but the voice sounded alien, not my own. The figure leaned slightly closer, and a cold, chilling breath brushed my neck. My body froze, terror rooting me in place. I bolted. I didn't look back, ran blindly, until a sudden touch grazed my shoulder, light but insistent. I spun around and met his gaze. His eyes were hollow, yet they pierced straight through me. And the smile, terrifying, soulless, unnatural, stretched across his face again. Slowly he stepped back, giving me space as though granting mercy, then melted into the shadows of the alley. I stood there gasping, convinced I had escaped. But deep inside, a gnawing certainty took hold. He hadn't gone. He would never truly leave. The next day, I tried to convince myself that what I had seen was a trick of the night, a shadow playing games with my mind. But the city felt different. Every corner seemed sharper, every alley darker, every pedestrian a potential reflection of that same hollow gaze. I couldn't shake the memory of the smile, the way it stretched impossibly, mocking human limits. I avoided my usual routes, stayed indoors longer than necessary, but it didn't matter. I caught glimpses of him in unexpected places, across a street, in a shop window at the edge of a quiet park bench, always at a distance that was unnervingly intimate. Never too close to touch, but too close to ignore. By evening, my unease had solidified into a tangible fear. I paced my apartment like a caged animal, eyes darting to every shadow. The wind rattled the windows. Every creak of the floorboards sounded like his footsteps. Sleep became impossible. My mind replayed that night, each detail sharper than before. The crunch of snow, the whisper of his presence. The cold seeping into my bones. I decided to face him. I needed to understand, to see the truth. I walked into the night once more, deliberately taking streets I had once avoided. The city was silent, almost too silent. And then there he was, not waiting, not moving, just standing, watching. The distance between us felt alive. Like a current I could not escape. I called out, voice cracking, "Who? What are you?" He tilted his head, still smiling, still impossibly still. No words came, but the silence itself felt loaded. My skin crawled. I felt rather than heard the whisper, "You are not alone." I stumbled back, and for a fleeting moment, a horrible realization dawned. It wasn't following me. It was a constant presence, independent of space and time, manifesting only when I noticed it. And the smile, oh, that cursed smile, was not just an expression. It was a warning, a signal, a claim. I ran through streets, across intersections, past closed shops and silent parks. Every turn I took, I found him, or rather, I found the feeling of him, just behind me in the corner of my vision. Sometimes, when I thought I had escaped, I caught that flash of white teeth and hollow eyes reflected in a puddle or window. Hours later, drenched in sweat and fear, I found myself back where it began, under the dim street lamp. The alley was empty. The city hummed quietly, indifferent. And yet I knew with a certainty that chilled my blood that he was still there, watching, waiting, smiling. I sank to the curb, shaking, trying to calm my mind. And then I realized the most terrifying thing. It wasn't just outside me. It had followed me inside. The memory of that smile, the weight of that gaze, it had embedded itself in my mind. No matter how far I walked, how fast I ran, how brightly I lit my apartment, the presence lingered. I wasn't alone, and I never would be. The nights became endless. Every shadow in my apartment felt alive, every flicker of light a threat. I stopped leaving my home, yet even the walls could not keep him out. The smile haunted me in reflections, in dreams, in the quiet corners of my mind. I began to notice patterns. The times he appeared coincided with moments of weakness, when I was tired, distracted, alone. I tried to tell others, but they laughed or shook their heads. "You're imagining things," they said. Friends, family, they couldn't see him, couldn't feel the oppressive weight. I realized that the figure didn't exist in their reality, only mine, and that made him all the more terrifying. I started keeping a journal, documenting every encounter, every sign of his presence. At first it was sparse, almost mundane. Footsteps in the hallway, a shadow in the corner of a mirror. Then the entries grew desperate. The smile followed me in dreams, reaching impossibly wide, stretching across darkness that didn't exist. One night, unable to bear the tension, I walked again. I needed answers, some proof, some confrontation. The city was quiet, and for the first time, I felt him approach without being seen, felt the cold, oppressive weight in the air. My heart thudded violently as I spun around. And there he was, closer than ever. Impossibly close. Yet no one else on the street saw him. "You can't run," I whispered. The figure tilted his head. The smile stretched wider. And the silence around it deepened, pressing against my mind. I felt the words before they reached my ears. "You are mine now." "You are not alone." Panic surged. I ran blindly. Yet every turn, every alley, every street corner led me back to him. The city itself seemed altered, distorted. Street lamps flickered in unnatural patterns. Buildings appeared shifted. It was as if he could bend reality to keep me within sight, within reach. Then came the realization I had been avoiding. The figure was not merely following me. He was part of me, a shadow within my consciousness. Every heartbeat echoed with his presence. Every thought trembled under the weight of that smile. I could not escape because there was nowhere left to hide. I tried reason, tried logic, tried ignoring him, but the more I resisted, the stronger he became. And then in the silence of my apartment, in the dead of night, I saw him in the corner of my vision, my own reflection twisting, smiling back at me with that same impossible grin. I screamed. The sound bounced off the walls, empty and meaningless. He did not speak. He only watched, waited, and smiled. The realization settled into me like ice. He had never been external. He had always been inside, lurking in the spaces between thought and fear. I am not alone. And I never will be. Even now as I write these words, I feel it just beyond the edge of vision. Smiling, waiting, always waiting. Oh yes, I definitely wouldn't want to be in his place. Honestly, this story is truly creepy. To be honest, while I was creating this video at night, it gave me chills myself. What about you? Write in the comments what scared you the most. And be sure to share your own real-life stories.